Welcome back to the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. The topic for today's video is going to be 6 potential free agents that the Leafs could sign in the offseason. And I know Jude wanted to go first, but before we do that, make sure you guys check out the jersey giveaway in the description below and also check out our sponsors. And this is actually the first time that we're all back since the incident of the Leafs losing. So Jude, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's not a good note to start on, Eric. But
Sorry.
We had to take a mental vacation for a few weeks
Yeah.
after that.
exactly. But I'll get right into it. So pretty much, I have a goalie and a centerman here for my two players, and I'd like to choose Chris Krieger and Mikhail Grandland. So I'm gonna start off with Grandland. Just his overall stats are unbelievable. For the player that he would be, I see him um, replacing Kerfoot. That's being said that Kerfoot's taken by the Kraken, or he's involved in a bigger trade that is maybe for a left or right winger. But like into a dive into stats, Grandland has a 50% face-off percentage for his entire career, which is pretty damn good. And then this is where the stats start getting good for Grandland, and that's in the 2021 playoffs. In 6 games, he had 5 points, and I mean, you look at some of the big Leaf names, and then some of the smaller names, who's coming out, who's not showing out in those playoffs. And I mean, Grandland for Nashville, was a fourth seed playing a first seed, was not really expected, and Grandland really showed out in that series. And you know what? That's what we need. We need that heart and that hard work. And then that being said, for his career, he averages 53 points on an 82 game pace. So for a third line center, that's pretty damn good. And I personally think that he'd be a great fit to Toronto, and I could honestly see him in a Leaf. That being said, Chris Drieger. So most people are probably wondering, where's Drieger going to go? Could he go to Seattle? Could he be picked up by other teams? But I personally think he'd be a great fit on the Leafs, being a tandem goaltender duo with Jack Campbell. That being said, in Chris Drieger's entire career, he has a 929 save percentage, which is absolutely unbelievable. Just going through different goalies, that he hasn't had an off year yet to begin, and then from there he's 21-9 in his career. So he hasn't played a lot of games. That being said, he hasn't lost a lot of games. So that's what people like to look into goalies, is their win loss percentage, and he's just a perfect fit. You know, Campbell needs a rest day here and there for sure, and I think he'd be that perfect goalie to fill in for a game, get us a win, throw Campbell back in for the next game.
Felly, did you want to go next?
No. Imagine I was just like, no, skip me.
Well, you did just say that, but
No, what if I was like being serious? No, so I got two players here. I mean, the here's the thing, like it's all like, fun and games, and we can say this stuff, but all it comes down to is like we don't know what players want, what they think they're worth, what their agents think they're worth, and what other teams think they're worth. It's kind of like real estate. It's like they're only worth as much as someone's willing to pay. So it doesn't really matter if Connor McDavid is worth $0 as a free agent until someone offers him $12 million, right? So to start off, everyone is $0, right? It's just like no one's worth anything until there's like a value put in, right? So it is interesting in that sense. To start off, before I say my two players, um, Nick Felino, over the past couple of days, it's June 14th. Over the last couple of days, he's been saying that he wants to stay with the Leafs. I've read it a few places. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but I don't know about it unless he's willing to take like 1.5 or 2 million, something pretty low. 2 million might even be scraping the top there, but unless he's willing to take a pay cut because he wants to stay here. But apparently he wants to stay. So I don't know how that would go over, but two players for me, obviously goalie. Jack Campbell can't do it on his own. the Leafs need 2 goalies. They're not going to put Hutchinson in there behind him and hope that Campbell doesn't get injured, because he very well might. He's a pretty injury prone guy. I have the Leafs signing Linus Allmark in free agency. The thing about Allmark is, once again, he's going to take probably his best offer. I don't think he cares about going back to Buffalo. He doesn't want, I don't think he feels, no one really feels a connection to Buffalo right now. They're a terrible team. And to stay there, he's literally just going to be taking shots every single game. They've got goalies coming up in their system. So Linus Allmark, I think he'll sign for what he can get, which would be around 2.53 million. This year, he's making 2.6. So I think he'll be like around the same, honestly. I don't think he's worth anything more than that or anything less than that. And that's just a good tandem goalie for like, that would just be a really good. I think the Leafs will make a good decision there regarding a tandem goalie. And then my other guy, this is if Felino leaves, or there's some guys that don't come back, such as Joe Thornton, who I hope doesn't come back. No offense to him. He's had a great career, but not right now. Is Kyle Palmieri. He's doing unreal in the playoffs. Also could be a super unrealistic signing because he is, how old is he? Is he 30? Is that what I'm seeing there? He's 30 next year. So he's decently young. And he's having an unbelievable playoff run right now. 7 goals. So his stock is going through the roof right now. He's already making this year. He's on $4.5 million contract. So that could be super unlikely. If Anderson leaves, that might be a guy that they shoot for instead of Hyman. That's another thing. I know Eric was saying in his other video, his loan video, which I was surprised to see, that he thinks Hyman they should let him walk. I don't think so. I think we're coming up with 2 free agents here, UFAs, but in all reality, I would go with Hyman and Allmark if we're just picking 2 guys to re-sign and sign. Palmieri would be great, but that would be if Hyman doesn't come back. It's a whole thing, right? So it's interesting to see. And since his stock is so high, Palmieri, he could want 5.5 upwards of that, right? So we'll see. It's what a team is willing to give him is what he's worth. So no one comes up with their own worth, their own stock value. It's all about what teams are willing to pay. So
yeah, for sure. Well, Eric, I'm just going to interrupt you here quickly, and I forgot to mention my contracts, which I personally think are 2 great contracts. So Grandland signed a 1 year this year for 3.75, so that's a pretty low contract. Do you guys know how much Kerfoot signed for?
3.5.
it's around the same.
Yeah, so it's a very similar contract for, I personally think, an even better player. And then Krieger is on a $850,000 contract. So, I mean, Krieger would just be unbelievable. He's obviously raised his stock this year, but that being said, he could definitely sign for under 1 mil, I think, if we got lucky. And that'd just be unbelievable because he's a great goalie.
Yeah. Yeah, just to address the Hyman video, I know I got like a lot of people pissed at me, especially on Facebook. But
And me, I'm pissed.
yeah, I kind of forgot to say it, but I wanted to say that, if Hyman wants to sign anything under 4.5, I'd love to have him back. Obviously, I said that near the end of the video, and a lot of people missed it, but I would rather have Hyman back, especially if he signs for a team-friendly discount.
I think the thing about Hyman, Hyman is the only thing is, okay, maybe he wants 4.5, but what if he wants 5 years, right? That's the issue, because he's going to be 34 in 5 years, right? So you really can't do a long term with a guy like that. He may be good for a while, like Spezza maybe, but it's tough to say. I want Hyman back, but he just raised his stock this year. and there are teams that will be willing to pay him money. So, I
I
mean,
think we
July
could make a
1st.
video all together and hear each of our opinions, not just one of us.
Yeah, I think we could do that too.
July 1st is going to be a super interesting
Oh,
day.
Yeah.
Free agency for the Leafs, it's going to be unbelievable. And for the entire league, I mean, I honestly, though, we can say all this stuff and it's great and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's Kyle Dubas's decision and Shanahan, right? So it's what they think is the best for the team. So adding star power, you know, or changing things that are already there, not to like stomp on your thing, Jude, like Grandland for Kerfoot. Yes, it's a little bit of an upgrade, but they're both small guys. They're both third line centers, right? It's not too much of a difference.
Yeah, the pickup would be if we lost Kerfoot to the
Yeah.
Kraken. That's
So,
literally what it'd
so
be.
so like that exchange, it kind of like cancels out. I mean, Kerfoot for Grandland. I mean, at the end of the day, that the difference is winning a playoff series and not. I think they're basically the same impact on the team. Kerfoot had a decent playoff
Yeah.
series too, so like that stuff. But I think in order to win a playoff series, which is the goal right now, the cup, forget about it right now. All I want to do is win one playoff series. That's it.
that's our goal.
I don't even want to hear this is why. Here's the Leafs are going to win the cup in 2022. Here's why. I don't want to make that video. We're not making that video. It's the Leafs will get past the first round. Here's why. But the main thing that people are saying is the Leafs need something big to change. That's not, people are thinking, oh, that's Marner, that's Nylander, or something like that. No. The core, Riley could be moved. This is a whole nother video. Riley could be moved, something like that. But I mean, something big has to happen. So getting a guy like Palmieri or something like that, that's a bigger change than getting a smaller impact player.
Yeah. And I mean, just steering back on topic here. Hold on,
I was
Mike.
on topic. What are you talking about?
um, okay, whatever. Well, I kind of wanted to say my two guys, but um, I mean, these are the two guys I'm about to pick are two of my favorite players in the league, like regardless of what team they're on. And
Trade for
it's
Connor McDavid and pick up Henrik Zetterberg.
oh my god,
Look
Zetterberg.
at the background.
We'll just take his contract for no reason. Yeah.
No. So, if you don't know me, I love defense and like Bergeron, types of players like that, Anze Kopitar, defensive forwards. And Coleman and Gujo are the perfect players for the Leafs. And just hear me out. So everyone knows that Tampa is in kind of a rut right now. If they win the cup or not, they're $13 million over the cap. It's a flat cap this year. It's not going to go up, maybe by $1 million, who knows? But that's still a flat cap. So two of their best players right now, I think, in my opinion, like obviously in the bottom six, Coleman and Gujo are both free agents next year, and they make next to nothing. So if the Leafs can sign both of them for under $4 million, I would call that a huge win because these are two impact players. They're two of the best players in the playoffs for Tampa. Coleman went off in the regular season as well this year, being a fourth line center for them. He had like 33 points in 51 games, which is unbelievable for a fourth line center. And then Gujo, he's so good defensively. It's crazy. So if you got Gujo for $1 million and maybe Coleman for 2.5 or 1.1, 1.5, 2.5, that would be incredible. They're also very physical, which the Leafs need, and obviously defensive. And they're 100% gonna be free agents this year because there's no possible way Tampa can sign them unless they pull the biggest stunt of all time. And they'll be available for the Leafs to take. And I think the Leafs should jump on that. They're cheap, good playoff players, and that's exactly what the Leafs need. Players who perform well in the playoffs, and who knows, they might come out of this as 2-time Stanley Cup champions. So that would be huge for the Leafs.
So if you could pick a goalie, who would you pick other than those two guys?
I'd pick Krieger.
Okay.
Why?
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm heavy on Drieger or Ranta.
Ranta is a great
what
goalie.
team was Ranta on?
Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
He put up really good stats, and he's not a big guy too, so I like that.
When's Kemper a free agent next year?
I don't even
Ye-
know.
Something like that.
I mean,
But
he's having a bad year, so his stock is going down.
yeah.
Aside from winning gold,
Well, the thing about it is goalies can be hot and cold, right?
yeah. Kemper had an unreal
Like
year last year, and now this year he's like
yeah.
he could
I
be a
mean
tandem.
the thing about any of these guys is like we could go pick up Drieger and he's coming off like a 927 save percentage year, and then he could come to the Leafs and just, be terrible. I mean, it happened to Frederick Anderson, like from one year to the next. So it just depends with goalies, super hot and cold.
Yeah.
Rask is also a free agent, but he's going back to Boston, I think. All right.
Or he's retiring, or Rask
Yeah,
is
he
back in
might
it.
retire. He's like 40 now or something like
He's
that.
severely injured right now, so he's out for the next 8 weeks, and that's going into
Yeah.
next season. And he's also whatever age you just said, Philly.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
exactly
Krieger's
how,
also the same age as
but
Campbell.
he's
So
super old. I mean, he's what, 27?
yeah,
So it's in the Leafs' best interest to get a young goalie to tandem. I mean, that's the way to go about the NHL now. Yeah,
yeah,
unless you have Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, um, that's it. Unless you have Hellebuck or Vasilevsky, you really need two good goalies.
Especially with
Um,
Campbell, because he can't take on like a full season load.
yeah,
exactly. He's injury prone, so getting a good backup or someone that can split a lot of games is good. And then you can also go with who's hot, who's cold, right? So it's like
yeah,
it gives you the option to say, okay, this guy's hot right now. Let's put him in. And then if he starts getting cold, you put the next guy in. It's like almost like a
exactly,
little battle between the two goalies for the main job,
for
right? Which
sure.
is good. Some competitive spirit within the locker room.
Yeah. Well, I
Also
mean,
something that the Leafs lack right now, just completely. They have no competition in that locker room at all.
exactly.
Everyone knows that Matthews is the first line. Everyone knows that Tavares is the second line. Marner's first line. Nylander's second line. Third line's Kerfoot. There's no competition going on. Even
Yeah.
on the defense, it's just Riley, Brody, Muzzin, Hole, and then you know what? Sandine, Dermott, like whatever.
And
Bogosian.
It's really just like the healthy scratches in the fourth line that really only had the internal
Yeah.
competition. And
yeah,
we were the
I
ones
mean
who actually played well.
Yeah, Campbell was given his chance, and he shone this year, or
Yeah.
he shined this year. I don't know.
Well, what's that guy's name? The guy from Winnipeg. He's not actually from the Jets, but he's
Orembo
from
Shaw?
Winnipeg. Adam
Brooks?
Brooks.
Oh, Brooks.
Adam Brooks. Um, I wish we got to see him in the playoffs. That guy
Yeah,
wanted to play. And if the Leafs don't, I don't know what his contract looks like or anything like that. But if he's on the roster next year, I want to see him on the fourth line because he had some great games.
most
Um,
definitely.
and he really wanted to play. You could tell. So I want that guy. Like I just want the best for that guy, even if it's not on the Leafs. I want to see him playing in the NHL because he's going to be good. I can tell.
Yeah.
Whether he's an impact player on a team or just like a role player, I think he's going to be good.
Well, to be honest, to put my foot kind of in the door of all our goaltending acquirements, I guess. Uh, we
Acquisitions.
acquisitions. There it is. There it is. There it is. Um,
Let's make a T-shirt that says acquirements. Okay, go
okay,
ahead.
I like that. I like that. I'll put right here. Um, I personally think that that was Riddick's position for the end of the regular season. He was supposed to be tandeming with Jack Campbell, and then
Yeah.
you never know. As Felly said, we don't know what's going on in Dubas's head. We're not in his head. The media probably is, but we aren't. So that being said,
We
he
are the
could be
media.
he could be. I mean, we're supportive media, so we're not technically the media because we know how the media is. So
What about
I
our
mean, aside from you hate Hyman, so whatever.
Yo, this guy really titled the video. This is why the Leafs shouldn't re-sign Hyman. I hate Hyman.
He said in fine print, I hate Hyman
Yeah.
so much.
No, I
Yeah.
literally said at the end of the video, I love Hyman.
We're gonna make another T-shirt that says Eric hates Hyman, and
I'm
you're gonna wear it to a game next year.
and I'm gonna wear requirements.
Yeah, and you're
And
gonna
that being said, maybe Dubas is thinking, you know what, I have my goalies. Let's focus on maybe Riley and Hall this year. You know what I mean? Because he could say that Campbell and Riddick can tandem it out for the 2022 season, right? So we don't know what he's thinking, and that could have been his plan all along. So
Well,
Yeah.
another option is if he wants to keep that core together and he's like, you know what, like I know these guys can win a Stanley Cup. They need to get past this first round and they'll do it. Just like don't sign Anderson, keep the core, sign like maybe a few players, right? But save the cap for when you have to re-sign Riley and Campbell because if we don't have cap to re-sign those players, we're going to be screwed when it comes to that.
Well,
Like I don't know
if
whose
we're
contract's up like next year. I'll check right now, but
if we're getting into this a little bit, Riley's not going to be a Leaf next year, if not the next one. I don't see it happening. Everything that I've seen so far says the most logical thing to do right now would be to trade Riley because he's 1 year left. You get something for him. The Leafs have let too many guys just walk off in free agency. JVR, they got nothing for him. They were a bad team. They got nothing for him. The least you can do is get some draft picks or prospects, right? Trading Riley this year for some draft picks or prospects really does the Leafs good. You can't let these guys just walk off without anything, right? Because you can trade them to playoff contention teams for decent players, prospects, picks, and get something out of it because Riley very well
there was his time.
might
I had my time. You had
might
your time. He's very Mel.
Riley very well might walk off in free agency next year, and the Leafs will get nothing, and they might not get past the first round, and then he just walks,
Yeah.
and there goes him, and you get nothing for it.
he's actually going to run.
So,
Like,
so,
why?
so, talking about that, I mean, honestly, I know it's hard to do, and it's hard to think about as a Leafs fan, but Riley getting traded is probably the best thing that could happen right
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
Yeah, well, right before we finish it up, that being said, is every move that we might be talking about, yeah, it's like this is our little fantasy of what we'd want to see on the Leafs. That being said, this this isn't looking for the next 5 years. GMs don't just think, okay, what's the next 2 months? What's that going to be good for? This is longevity. This is everything. He's probably thinking where's Spezza going to be in the next 2 years. Is Thornton retiring this year? We don't know. Maybe they probably had private conversations, but all that being
Yeah.
said, is you don't know what like Grandland could play this year, be an unbelievable player, like kick Tavares out of the second line, whatever, just making shit up, and then he just walks off like Felly's saying, right?
The thing about it,
GMs need to think ahead of time.
the thing about it is, yeah, like GMs, okay, like let's think 5 years into the future. We need a good team in the future. GM's like lifespan on a team isn't that long. So when you think about it, Dubas right now, his lifespan is probably 1 year. If they don't get past the first round next year, he's done.
Oh yeah.
So when you look at it from his perspective, yeah, you want the team to be good in the coming years, but for him, this year means everything.
Yeah,
The coming year means everything. So like, yeah, you want to be good in 5 years, but it depends on who the GM is and what their lifespan is looking like. Because right now he's getting fired if they don't get past the first round, right? So Lou Lamoriello didn't do anything for the future. He kind of just he went on his own jolly way, and now he's in the semifinals. So
I wish we had Trotz right now.
The thing is, it's like Babcock was supposedly the best coach in hockey. He's done just Stanley Cups under his belt, comes here and does nothing. So it just depends on the fit. To me, I mean, coaching wise, Keith did nothing for the team.
He did not do anything. He mentally fucked
he
our
did
players.
Well, here's the thing: is like coaching wise, hockey wise, fine. Like you can be a good hockey coach, but in the playoffs, what it comes down to is you got to rile the team up. You got to make them want to play for each other and to win. It just seemed like they were being like systematic and like that's all they talked about. It wasn't like go out, let's win this for like Johnny, or like let's have some heart this game. It was mostly like, okay, let's make sure there's two guys on the forecheck and let's pressure this guy and let's do a 1-2-2, blah 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 blah. It seemed like it was mostly that, right? You got to have a coach who gets in your heart, right, rather than your head. So it seemed like he was just all about like what's in your head. So like look at Barry Trotz, what he does to the Islanders. The Islanders don't have that great a team, but for some reason, every single guy plays so hard, every shift. Like
Everyone.
I watched that game today. It was unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
every
They're
single guy
so
wants to
hardworking.
win. So
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I wish our Leafs were like that.
it's just not like that. It just isn't. The culture is just different for some reason.
Yeah. And all of our questions will be answered on July 5th and the forthcoming days after that. But until then, we can just talk all we want and nothing will
Is it?
change.
I thought it was July 1st.
What did I say?
5th.
I thought you
Sorry.
said 5th.
Meant to say first.
It's not okay.
Okay. I'm going to quit. So July 1st and the forthcoming days after that, we will know. And maybe we'll do a live stream event with all three of us.
Yeah.
And, stick with you guys and, see who gets signed and our reactions. But for now, all we can do is talk. We really appreciate. What did you want to say something?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, it's gonna be sooner than that because trades will happen before that.
Yeah.
As soon as the season's over, trades will start to happen. So, we'll definitely be making some videos like about that stuff in the end of June, because things will happen. I don't know when the expansion draft is either, but
Soon.
things will start to happen.
Oh yeah, we'll make videos
in June. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and as always, enter the jersey giveaway. This has been the Buds in the Box. Bye for now.